Welcome to TechReview, powered by Axel Springer. Here we explore the latest trends, news and updates from the world of technology. This podcast is the perfect source for staying up to date with what is important to know right now. You can watch all episodes on YouTube or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcast while you work out, drive, or maybe even travel through space. Today we are again in a reduced setup because Henrike is on vacation. And so today we are Vincent Irmler and my name is Tarek Madani Mamluk. And we can do it by ourselves. We don't need Henrike.
Henrike, when you're listening to this, this is what happens when you go on vacation. Yeah, yuck enough.
We are turning in a boys' club. So today we have manly news. And let's start with manly.
Do we actually have them? I don't know. Is it weapons? No.
But I will start with space news.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Henrike is getting jealous. I can feel it.
Because we miss Henrike so much. That's why we are bringing now space news.
Space origami.
Not origami, but like a very, very lucrative business that we might see in the future, because I read on Forbes that NASA's Psyche mission is a quadrillion-dollar business, and they are going to launch their mission to meet this asteroid next month. When? In October.
Next month already.
In October. Wow. And the news are NASA and SpaceX are preparing to launch a spacecraft called Psyche on a journey of around 2.5 billion miles to an asteroid named 16 Psyche. That's why it's called this way. And this is located in the main asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. And the asteroid's unique composition of iron and nickel has led to speculation that it could be worth an astonishing 10,000 quadrillion US dollars. I have no idea how they calculated that, but this sounds like a very lucrative mission. And this mission is aiming to study the 16 Psyche's properties and its iron core, which resembles Earth's core, providing insights into the formation of celestial bodies. And the spacecraft will launch atop a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket, and its instruments and hardware are being readied for this mission right now. The launch windows is stretching from October 5th to October 25th, 2023. So very, very soon.
Yeah, that is very, very soon.
Yeah. And I mean, we often hear about the strange NASA and SpaceX missions, and this is once again something that we hear kind of often about, but never this specific. To have this very specific asteroid that we are flying to between Mars and Jupiter, and I'm curious to see the results. If they say afterwards, it was like scientifically interesting, but nothing to see here, or if this is going to be like the next thing where we are going to see Chinese rockets and Indian rockets and Russian rockets and everybody suddenly getting a high amount of interest to studying the asteroid belt.
It sounds a bit like Don't Look Up. I mean, in Don't Look Up, we have exactly that situation, right? There's an asteroid. I mean, it is heading towards Earth. Let's hope this is not the case here. And I mean, depending on the size, I would assume the size is large enough to be a problem for us. I mean, they do it too. They go there to, exploit the asteroid. So I really hope this is not happening here. It sounded a bit like that, but studying it for the forming of celestial bodies, well, okay, interesting.
Right.
Let's remember that SpaceX is a private company, though.
Absolutely. And we are reading this, of course, with this caveat of having 10,000 quadrillion dollars in worth. And of course, we have to emphasize that this mission is for scientific purposes. But in the spirit of the movie Don't Look Up, I could imagine that, I don't know, the CEO of SpaceX gets this great idea of mining this asteroid more efficient by moving it closer to Earth. So putting rockets onto it and steering it into a close Earth orbit, because then it's easier to mine it, right?
I can see some really crazy setup where it is directed in the direction of Earth's orbit, and then with explosives breaking up into a lot of pieces to then be, I don't know, with Starlink satellites suddenly taking it within their orbit for SpaceX to pick it up. I can see a lot of different movies working together here. James Bond with the rocket that eats other rockets. I can see Don't Look Up. Yes, and a lot more. I'm really excited for whatever's going to happen there. We need to keep ourselves posted and the listeners.
And I'm so thrilled because I thought this summer would be very slow with only having AI news, but last week we were talking about fusion reactions, we were talking about laser weapons, and now we are talking about mining an asteroid in the asteroid belt for 10,000 quadrillion dollars. It's amazing. I wish I could send this news podcast back in time like 10 years ago to show people, look what is going to happen in the next decade in terms of science fiction news. This is, the only thing that is missing right now is, Elon Musk invented the flying car, right? And suddenly we have like flying cars in the streets, over the streets.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Really.
Jetpacks. I want to see jetpacks.
Yes.
All right.
And now this.
Let's jump to
ByteDance,
TikTok.
yes, software information again.
ByteDance.
This time, yes. So ByteDance, it's really interesting because ByteDance is an extremely good, well-running company. ByteDance, I think the other time I brought an article about ByteDance definitely not having cash flow problems. They're making a lot of money, but still TikTok currently is extremely deep in the e-commerce game, and they're pushing for it. We saw that they were hiring executives from Amazon and Shopify, and they testing a lot of things in the US, in UK. They have a lot of different ideas, and all of this is coming directly from Douyin or around the apps, the other apps of ByteDance that are, most of them focus on e-commerce because this is where ByteDance makes money. And now the picture becomes more clear because we see that TikTok is a growth motor for ByteDance. Up until now, Douyin was the one, and it's still. And when we read that in China, ByteDance revenue grew 25% year over year, it's an astonishing number when you think of ByteDance being one of the biggest tech companies out there. But you can see there that this is down from 150% in 2019, 105% in 2020, and 68% in 2021. So we see that growth for ByteDance is not as heavy anymore as it used to be. Now, to be fair, number one, Douyin, being the growth driver until now, is a extremely e-commerce focused social video app. So it's like TikTok, but e-commerce is built into it. The Chinese also are an economy and people that are really open to social e-commerce as well. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. And we have to keep in mind when you look at other tech companies that these numbers are not actually the case. That the growth like that is not what's happening out there. And when you just think of basic economy, it's just not possible to grow 105% or 120% or 150% year over year. It's just not possible. But it also makes the picture much clearer that TikTok needs to grow up, needs to mature in e-commerce, because this is what ByteDance knows. This is what they're good at. And they see TikTok as the window for them to go into the e-commerce market outside of the Asian market. And that is really, really, really important for ByteDance right now. The scary part is when TikTok is successful with that, so ByteDance is successful with that, we're going to see the market flooded with X amount of apps from ByteDance, all being focused on e-commerce, because ByteDance actually has an e-commerce suite, if you want to call it that, a bunch of apps that are all directed into this direction. So this is last episode I said it's a turning event, and we see it here. This is TikTok will prove now if the strategy that apparently they have built years in advance is now being executed, if it can be executed or not. And it puts a lot of pressure on everybody's favorite CEO from the hearing months ago to the CEO of TikTok.
Yeah. But do you really think that this e-commerce strategy is compatible with the Western market, the US and European market? Because from what we are seeing is that Asia is simply working differently with social media than we do.
I think that's a very good question we need to ask, and I think the answer to that is yes. I think so, because right now I think in Web 2.0, the way we are looking at the web right now, e-commerce is everywhere. I mean, I built definitely ordered stuff off Instagram. I did that. I don't know if you did, but I would argue from our talks off camera, I would argue that potentially you did once or twice.
To be honest, no, I did not.
Never.
So
interesting.
I mean, I observed it with a very high degree of curiosity, but I never had this urge or this feeling to directly order something on or buy something on social media. Sometimes I see an interesting product and I consume these informations, but then I Google for it and I research it, and then at the end I go to a retailer and buy it there. I never bought something on Instagram before.
Interesting, because I would argue it works. I mean, we see affiliate products and articles, and we see stories around product stories, editorials around that, and all of that, I mean, fights for the attention of the user. So I think the product that targets the best will in the end see the best return of invest there. And I think that ByteDance with its products has really powerful targeting mechanism. I think the algorithm that's powering ByteDance's most powerful apps, Douyin, TikTok, and a few others, I think is really well in targeting. And I think that when by time we will evolve over the stage where you just get shitty stuff in between ads, I think targeting is becoming smarter day by day, and I think eventually we'll see that social targeting that will lead to e-commerce will work. And the question then is, will it be done well product-wise? And I think the biggest challenge there for TikTok and for ByteDance is to understand the Western world when it comes to shopping. Yeah. I think if they understand well enough how e-commerce works, like what's important for us. I mean, when you compare ads, for example, you'll see that Chinese apps are so much more, they're stressing people out. I mean, they're colorful and action and sounds and everything. That's so different to what we consume here in Europe or the US. But I think if TikTok and ByteDance understand that, and I think they will because they have the money to just buy information, buy is the service they need. I think that it's highly likely that this will take off.
Right.
Maybe there are industries and sectors that are out of this. So, for example, I can see that I think that more products that need more explanation, so financial services, for example, insurance, these kind of things, things that are high in value, maybe a car. I think these are things that will still not rely on the e-commerce sectors of that, but mechanisms of those apps. But then again, you could also argue that's never been in scope because the traditional e-commerce that we know right now is more FMCG focused.
Yeah. Would you rather invest in Asteroid mining or in e-commerce going to the Western market?
E-commerce in the Western market.
Right. Sadly, yes, even though, what was the other number? 10,000 quadrillion US dollars?
No, but this is so far away. I mean, the earliest return we're going to see on that is Mars and Jupiter. You said Mars and Jupiter. I asked
Between
myself,
Mars and Jupiter,
I forgot to ask that. Like, how long is it going to take? I think to Mars, we're talking 6 months.
6 months, yeah.
So from Mars then to Jupiter is maybe another 6 months. I don't know how far that is. I would just guess now and say it's a year.
Probably.
I don't fucking know. So.
And whatever you're mining there, you have to bring back.
Yeah, but right now the first probe is just mining. So it's just collecting data.
Yeah,
so
right. It will take a time.
Yeah, it's going to take 5 years or so. If the first is coming back, and then I would also argue, I mean, we have Starship, which is like the largest rocket ever built. But is it big enough to actually transport 10,000 quadrillion? I don't think so.
In cash.
In cash, maybe. I'm not sure about iron.
Yeah, let's see. All right, but
what
we
would you
still
invest
have.
in? Sorry, Tarek, I didn't ask you. What would you invest in?
I want to invest in asteroid mining, but the more realistic choice would be e-commerce. And this is something that we are going to see in the next years, while asteroid mining is going to take a little longer to be profitable. Absolutely.
Let's just agree
and
on.
if we take a look at
invest.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
I just want to say, like, the stories that we hear from SpaceX are mixed in nature. So I'm actually not sure when actually will be the time that we will have actual news of the Mars colony or the Mars mining platforms that we are going to build in the asteroid belt.
Let's just agree on we're going to invest in e-commerce, and with the return that we're seeing there, the amazing return, because ByteDance will crack it, I'm sure, we're going to do asteroid mining.
And now, this.
And now, let's talk about Netflix.
Yes, let's talk about Netflix.
We did not talk about Netflix for quite a long time.
No.
But now I read on The Verge that Netflix finally streams video games too. Netflix has begun testing its cloud streams video games with a limited beta test in Canada and the UK for select subscribers. This marks a significant step in Netflix's gaming ambitions. The move comes after the company initially launched mobile games for iOS and Android already in November 2021, and now subscribers will be able to play these games on TVs, connected TV devices, and web browsers through cloud streaming. The first games available include Oxenfree and a new game called Molehue's Mining Adventures. And players will control these games using smartphones as controllers. Yeah,
it's mining adventures. You come on.
Oh right.
Are you
I did not
really bringing both of those?
I did not even recognize this. Yes, you are right.
Mining and e-commerce adventures. Interesting game. Yeah.
Let's see if there's maybe a level of mining on an asteroid.
Tarek, would you play those games?
I don't know. But I think this the strategy is super interesting because we already have Amazon Gaming, which is included in Amazon Prime, and if you own an Apple TV, you know that this is also having a big marketplace for games. So it seems to be like a new normal that you have a streaming service and then just use it for game streaming and have this included in your subscription. And it's in this direction. It is like a big question mark why Netflix did not roll this out earlier, right?
I mean, the iOS thing, I think, was a test. I have one of the Netflix games on my phone. I played it a bit, and I have to admit that for iOS games, they're really high value. Like, they're really putting work into that. Also, they're really heavy on your phone. It's like 2 gigabytes. It's crazy, but that's another story. Apple's upgrade prices for storage. But I find always it's really hard to have I've never find access to games I don't know. I mean, you know me well enough to know that I am a Fallout guy, and I obviously, because it's also from Bethesda Game Studios, will try Starfield this month, but next month when it's coming out, and I hope you do too. But I know you will. Star Citizen Plus subscriber. I don't know what you are, but I find it a very wild bet to believe that you can create games well enough versus the whole gaming industry that's out there to then make it a viable and valuable asset for people to say, I'm keeping that subscription. I mean, it's fun to have, it's maybe nice to have, but if you don't watch Netflix enough so that you're starting to think maybe I should cancel the subscription or downgrade to the ad one or whatever, is this really changing your mind? I don't know. I certainly did not for Amazon for me. I mean, I still have Amazon because I order a lot, but I never used the gaming thing. And honestly, the one game I have on my phone is because I wanted to test it, not because it looked so amazing to me.
Yeah,
How do you feel about that?
I am always amazed about that because instinctively I would say the same. It does not really make a difference in my behavior for subscribing to stuff, but especially Amazon. I think Amazon is a great example of a system that works because this Amazon Prime subscription is so packed with features that I would never leave the subscription. It is expensive, but the things that I get out of there, from free shipping over Amazon Gaming, over Amazon Music. Over and everything, Amazon Photos and storage and all of these things, even though the streaming service, the TV streaming service of Amazon Prime, you could say it's crap, apart from very specific high value productions that they have in there, like The Boys or
The Summer I Got Pretty or something. That's a really good one. Yeah,
I thought about The Expanse.
Yes,
a handful of my absolute favorite shows are
Lord
on Amazon.
Of the Rings.
Yeah. Sure.
I knew that. I knew you would react like that.
If you compare Amazon Prime Video with HBO or Apple TV Plus or even Netflix, it does not really compete, right? But I still keep the subscription, and I probably will keep it forever because of all the other things that are included in there. And I could imagine that including games in Netflix is kind of a strategic move because Netflix becomes more and more troubled with their competitors, with now getting also Paramount and Apple TV and Disney Plus and so many other streaming services, that Netflix is not necessary anymore to get entertained. And so they have to amp up their game. Literally.
I would. Yeah, true. Literally. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Amazon is packed, and this is why you're keeping it. Apple does the same with Apple iCloud. I mean, you're paying $2.99, but you're getting private relay, and you're getting image share, and a lot of other features that are great. Not only storage. You get. There's so much I could name now, but it doesn't matter. But Netflix, and I do see that from all these things, obviously they want to stick to the entertainment thing. They don't want to be they want to be another music service, another podcast service. No, they don't want to do that. I see that. I could probably see that they're a bit sad about that they didn't go on podcast earlier, because obviously we could see a Netflix podcast thing much better than anything else, but that doesn't matter now. However, gaming is so personalized, right? It's so unique to everyone's behavior. I'm sorry. I think it's really hard to make a difference there. It's a nice on top for people, probably, not for me. But for example, if Amazon would kill their shipping, I would not keep it. And if Amazon would keep shipping but kill Prime, I would also keep it versus shipping. But you see, there's a lot of features that they could kill. I would keep it. But if they would kill the one feature I subscribe for, no. The same goes for Netflix. If Netflix would kill or, divide up gaming and video, nobody would care about gaming. And so I think it's a really dangerous move to go into the gaming area because it is so based on you.
Yeah, but I think they never intended to be separated. I think they are aiming specifically on packaging it together with the other. Yeah. Right. And so I could imagine that even they might add podcasting or audio or whatever in the future simply to follow up the other players. Or let's say someone like Apple TV Plus, they have a very, very prestige niche, and they have a product that is so neat that they do not have to add like special things into this very particular subscription service. It sells itself. But Netflix lost their unique selling proposition in the past years. And so they need to sweeten the pot with something, right? And I don't know how much they are actually investing in this gaming sphere, but for some reason they think that this is probably the thing best matching their target audience, like low pricing, high demand productions.
I mean, I can see that if they want to do anything, right, they want to stick to entertainment. I can see that.
Yeah.
But then again, this is such a particular part of entertainment. I find it really difficult to believe that this is actually adding a value. Because what I wanted to say with this example of splitting them up, I agree. They will never split it up. That would be a stupid move. But it's not adding value for me. Not. And same for Amazon, by the way. I don't care about Amazon gaming, but why would I? And Google did a very similar thing. And what did they do? They killed Stadia because it didn't work. Because nobody cared.
I understand what you're saying, and this is probably a completely different discussion that we have to have at some point of time regarding the gaming industry. You and I, we might have a very particular taste that we say we are aiming for one A game or AAA game where we say this is the one thing that we are buying and then we are gaming. I could imagine that this might also be a generational thing. So if you have like young people who do not want to spend extra cash for buying the license to a AAA game, but since they already have a subscription to Amazon or Netflix, they have this unlimited pool of certain games. They might orient there and they simply go there where the games are. So maybe in a couple of years, nobody is going to pay separately for a game anymore because everything is included in some form of subscription that you have here or there. And I mean, I could see this in the past when I was a young person. I bought DVDs, like physical copies of movies, so that I can put them into my shelf. When was the last time that I literally paid a single movie? I'm not talking about like cinema tickets to the movie theater, but having like buying a single, a specific movie. If I want to see something, I'm probably going to see it on Disney Plus or on Netflix or on Amazon Prime.
Sure.
And if it's not there yet, I probably just wait for it until it comes out and watch something else that is available already because I already pay for this. And it could be that this might be a shift in the gaming industry also, that people are going to stop paying for individual games because in the future, everything is packaged in some kind of subscription deal. It might be. This is just speculation.
I think so, but I know we're getting to the end of the episode, so I don't want to keep this any longer. I think so, but when you look at the way Microsoft does it with Xbox, that's the way I can see it. Netflix, random move because it's a lot of original random games. But we'll see, you're right. Well, this is something we need to take up some other time.
All right. So thank you so much for this amazing discussion. And for everyone who's hearing us right now, leave us a comment about what you think is going to happen with the gaming industry.
Are you
and
gaming
if you want to hear
Netflix?
more of would you game with Netflix? And do you want to hear more of these kinds of discussions, or rather more laser weapons and asteroid mining? Who won? So have a great evening and see you and hear you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.